Will you please welcome to the stage, Aidan Killian?
I believe that every country in Africa and every human being in the whole world should be let off their debt. I passionately believe in debt forgiveness, and I don't just say it. I back it up with my actions. I borrowed money from a bank. I didn't pay them back, and I forgave myself. But not everybody has our point of view, because some people say, Aidan, like somebody came up to me after a show once and they said, Aidan, what would happen if every single person in the whole world didn't pay their debt back? We would be debt free. Now I have a plan. If we all get together and we don't pay back the banks money, they have a fiat currency, they use a fiat currency, they don't actually have the money there. Now I learned about there'll be a bank run, right? And I learned about this from the factual documentary Mary Poppins. So there's only two possibilities. Either the government bails out the people and sends the bankers to jail, or they bail out the bankers and say the banks are too big to fail. Now I don't see any chimney sweeps dancing on the roofs or children running around holding hands singing super banks too big to fail rob trillions that they owe us, even though the interest rates are something quite atrocious. If they do it long enough, the people will be homeless. Super banks too big to fail rob trillions that they owe us. I didn't pay back the bank money, and it was funny for a while, but then I got phone calls, and I got this phone call, private number, but I answered it, and I'm like, hello, who's speaking? Hello, this is Frank Lucy from the Bank of Ireland. Can I speak to Aidan Killian, please? Yeah, of course you can. Presuming Aidan wants to speak to you. But Aidan has dedicated his life to creating more laughter and happiness in the world, so are you ringing in connection with something that's amusing? I'm ringing in connection with a credit card debt that hasn't been paid in over 4 years. Doesn't sound very funny to me, Frank. But I can take a message if you like. I need to speak to Mr. Aidan Killian immediately. Whoa, that's impossible, because Mr. is a title that's used in Admiralty law, and a very low title at that. And Aidan does not believe in titles, because he knows that every man, woman and child born in this world are free, equal and sovereign, with rights more ancient and higher than any human statute. So if you insist on using a title, please use one that's more appropriate, like King. I'm not calling you King. Now, can I speak to... Who am I speaking to? Who are you speaking to? Well, that's a good question, Frank. Who am I? Well, I'm a human being, and a human being is made up of atoms. And atoms, as you well know in this room, can be broken into subatomic particles, tiny little wavelets of light, flashing rapidly, dying and being reborn hundreds of millions of times per second, which means really we're just reflections of each other. So, to answer your question, you're talking to yourself. You weirdo. Yeah, they gave up after 5 years. You lose your credit rating, but they give up. Yeah, they gave up. They just send you a load of letters. They don't do anything. I'm telling you, it's all like blah, blah, blah. Without prejudice. I didn't even know what that meant. I looked it up. Cannot be used in a court of law. I wrote back my own letters at the top. Big black bold letters, with prejudice. I have this theory that we shouldn't pay back debt, but some people say to me, you can't really do that, Aidan, because a friend of mine said, you see whatever you want in life. You want whatever you see whatever you want. So I see that the banks are bad. So no matter what they do, I'm like, oh yeah, they're the bad guys. I use, and he explained it to me. It's like with Trump and Hillary, some people that hate Trump, doesn't matter what he does, they're going to say that's more evidence that makes he's a baddie. And they hate Hillary, whatever she does, that's more evidence that she's the baddie. And I'm like, all right, okay, well I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to be a rational thinker. So I'm like, okay, well I'm going to believe whatever's most fun. Right, because I'm a comedian, right? Because you can't believe the news. I can't believe the news anymore. So when CNN talked about Donald Trump paying prostitutes in Russia to piss in a bed, I'm like, no documented evidence, CNN? Doesn't matter, I'm in. You had me at piss. But my friend said, no, wait, now you're a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist. You probably think that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't think that George Bush could have pulled off a hand job without making a mess. But then I started thinking, yeah, the towers fell down. How did they fall down? They fell down because they were hit by planes, but there's hundreds, thousands of scientists say that's impossible. But then there's thousands of scientists that say it is possible. All right, whatever. I don't know. They fell because of the plane. But what about the other tower? World Trade Tower number 7 that wasn't hit by a plane. How did it fall? Whatever. Maybe. Whatever. I don't know. But what about the BBC? They reported to have fallen before it fell. 5 minutes before. How do they know? Intuition? Where was their intuition with Jimmy Savile, huh? And that's when the real conspiracy theorist comes out. Oh yeah, it wasn't just the towers, they also sunk the Titanic. Who? The Illuminati, they sunk the Titanic. Oh really? You don't care that those bastards killed Leonardo DiCaprio? It was the greatest switch of all time. Except for when they switched Paul McCartney with the fake Paul McCartney. Fall McCartney, because the real Paul died in 1966 in a car crash. They even sang about it. He blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed. And they had to kill John and George to keep the secret. But they didn't bother with Ringo because nobody believed him. People always say that celebrities are killed by the Illuminati. Have you heard that? Tell me any celebrities that you think or somebody has said that were killed by the Illuminati. Michael Jackson, yes. Just because he wanted to make the world a better place for you and for me. It's true though, they always kill the cool black guys. You ever notice that? Tupac, Prince. Who'd say Tupac?
I said Tupac.
Tupac, yeah. But he did make an album called Killuminati, so he was kind of asking for it. Or Prince, they killed Prince because he talked about chemtrails live on television before he died. Google it, live. Chemtrails, sodium, barium, strontium, aluminium dropping from planes, creating clouds that fall on top of people, keeping them stupid, keeping them dumb, and we know it's true, because before chemtrails, there was no X Factor. Now we know the real meaning of purple rain. But don't let it get you down, because every cloud has an aluminium lining. Who else did they kill?
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe, because she was with John F. Kennedy, and she knew too much about the fact that he issued debt-free currency, back to money, back to the debt. He issued his own debt-free currency, Executive Order 101111, showing the basically like the greenbacks, just like Lincoln, and they shot him just like Lincoln. Let's just hope we hear the words, "I will destroy the banks," come from the mouth of Donald Trump. Who else did he kill? Who? Vicky Smalls. Who's Vicky Smalls? Biggie. Oh, am I like the old man who doesn't know this? Does everyone else know? Oh, shit. I don't know who Biggie Smalls is. Great. I'll just fucking wheel my wheelchair out of here tonight. I'll ask one of my grandkids. I don't know. It's gonna have to use Google, except that I don't know how to use the internet, so. But they've been lying for years. If you look at like fucking documented facts like Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip, where 1,500 Nazis went from Germany over to work for the American government after World War II. And it's a 100% documented fact. The clue is in the name. Operation Paperclip, because if you think about it, a paperclip is the exact same as a folded up swastika. Huh? Who needs science when you got facts like that? Or Operation High Jump. The most decorated man in the history of the United States of America's Navy, Admiral Byrd, came back after the war and took a fleet of ships off to the Antarctica, came back defeated. Who beat him? The Penguins? No, the Aryan aliens. And in his report, he reported that UFOs could go from the top of America to the bottom of America in less than 5 minutes. The question is, what is at the bottom of America? Mexico, close, different country, but it begins with an M. Mississippi. What's in Mississippi? A river, cotton. So I'm looking for cotton, but that's good. What's at the top of America? Canada, different country, but close. Alaska, yes. What's in Alaska? Correct. What happens to snow when it melts? Come on, scientists, water. What happens to water when you drink it? Pee. Very nice of you. Very polite. What's the technical term? Scientists. You get cotton, you get urine, you got put the two words together. What have you got? An anagram. Duh. Don't worry, I've got this. ICURNTTO. But what's NTTO? You get the T's, you bend it, you make it W. ICUR, New World Order. Quick, call the president. No, put down your phones, it's okay. It's a trap, because president's also an anagram. DT, take it out. Donald Trump, what are you left with? P, P-E, sinner, P-sinner. It's a trap. He wouldn't use cotton, he's too rich. He wouldn't use silk, you get cotton. You put the two words together, it's an anagram. Don't worry, I've got it. U, or, I-E-L-S, Uriel's. Kin, K-I-N. The offspring of Uriel. Uriel, in the Bible, brother of Lucifer, prophesies to be in charge of the world at the end of time, and that's why Donald Trump got the prostitute to piss on the bed. Guys, it's a real pleasure to be here. It's such a beautiful, comical and intelligent experience. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you all the best in everything that you possibly do. Good night. Be happy.